Lesson 13 for March 20 to 26, Rebirth of Planet Earth, read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Friday, March 26. From the book The Great Controversy, page 678, we read, "And the years of eternity, as they roll, will bring richer and still more glorious revelations of God and of Christ. As knowledge is progressive, so will love, reverence, and happiness increase. The more men learn of God, the greater will be their admiration of his character. As Jesus opens before them the riches of redemption and the amazing achievements in the great controversy with Satan, the hearts of the ransomed thrill with more fervent devotion, and with more rapturous joy they sweep the harps of gold. And 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of voices unite to swell the mighty chorus of praise. And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth, and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honour and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb for ever and ever." Revelation 5:13. The great controversy is ended. Sin and sinners are no more. The entire universe is clean. One pulse of harmony and gladness beat through the vast creation. From him who created all flow life and light and gladness throughout the realms of illimitable space. From the minutest atom to the greatest world, all things, animate and inanimate, in their unshadowed beauty and perfect joy, declare that God is love. And that brings us to our two discussion questions for this week. 1. Why is the promise of eternal life in a new heaven and a new earth so basic to our Christian belief? What good would our faith be without that promise? And 2. Read 2 Peter 3:10-14. How do these verses reflect the same idea presented in Isaiah 66? 2 Peter 3, beginning at verse 10. "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are in them will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat? Nevertheless we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, in which righteousness dwells. Therefore, beloved, looking forward to these things, be diligent to be found by him in peace, without spot, and blameless." And so to summarize this week's lesson, Isaiah presents a vision of staggering scope. Not only would God purge and restore his community of faith, but he also would enlarge its borders to encompass all nations. Ultimately, the recreation of his community would lead to the recreation of planet Earth, where his presence would be the ultimate comfort of his people. Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled Tire Trouble, and it's by Andrew McChesney of Adventist Mission. Ilya Koltok, a pastor and men's dean at Zaskovsky Adventist University in Russia, climbed into the car with his wife to go on a Black Sea vacation. After about 10 hours, the car started having tire trouble. Pop, pop, pop. Ilya wasn't sure what was wrong. Pop, pop, pop. He stopped the car and got out. Standing over the tyres, he couldn't see any problem. He prayed with his wife. "Dear God, we're having trouble with the tyres," he prayed. "Please help us." Ilya slid behind the steering wheel and drove on. Pop, pop, pop. The noise grew louder and louder. Ilya and his wife had travelled 600 miles, that's about 1,000 kilometres. They couldn't easily turn around and go home. They still had 250 miles or 400 kilometres to go until they reached their destination. Pop, pop, pop. Ilya prayed silently. Suddenly he sensed a male voice say, "Stop at that car repair shop and go to the mechanics inside." Startled, he looked out the window and saw a car repair shop. He stopped and found two men sitting and talking as if they didn't have any work to do. "Can you help me?" Ilya said. "My car is making noises." The mechanics checked the car. They rotated the tyres. They did other things. "Get in," a mechanic said finally. "You can go." "Thank you," Ilya said. "How much do I owe you?" 200 rubles, he said, or about $3. Ilya found 200 rubles and a pocket-sized Gospel of John. He tucked the money in the book and handed it to the surprised mechanics. "What is this?" a mechanic asked. "The Gospel," Ilya said. The mechanics grew more surprised. "Are you a pastor?" one asked. Ilya nodded. The mechanics' faces lit up with joy. They took the 200 rubles out of the book and returned it to Ilya. One of them held up the book. "God sent this book to us," he said. "We were just talking about God when you arrived." Part of this quarter's 13th Sabbath offering will help construct a grade school and high school building on the campus of Azovsky Adventist University in Russia. And there's a photograph on the left of the pastor, Pastor Ilya Koltok. I trust you've enjoyed this series of lessons on the book of Isaiah. It's been really thrilling to me to be able to read what God has promised, and we see in the Gospels how it all came to be.
Hi there. Thanks for watching this video on the Advent-band Ministries YouTube channel. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to be alerted whenever we upload new videos. So, until we meet him in the clouds, may God continue to bless you.
This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.